Welcome to Real Estate Leads Uncovered, the podcast that delves into the dynamic world of lead generation in the real estate industry. Hey, I'm your host, Lisa Carter, and I'm excited to guide you through the challenges, the strategies, and success stories that revolve around one of the most crucial aspects of real estate, generating leads.
Live from the hottest real estate market in America, Tampa Bay, Florida. This is the Real Estate Leads Podcast with the CEO and founder of the Olga System, your host, Lisa Carter.
Wow, there's 1.5 million real estate agents in the United States, maybe a little less, maybe 1.2, 1.5. Whatever that number is, this is an industry that's highly exposed to people that they don't know and strangers that are seeing property for sale or seeing their services, and they're meeting these folks for the first time. A lot of safety risk involved in this, and they're meeting them in intimate spaces, an office, at their homes. And so we have Coach Kearns on. He is a master martial arts, defense, wellness, mental health specialist. And I just met him at a realtors conference recently, and I was just blown away, and you guys will be too. Kevin Kearns, Coach Kearns, say hello to the people.
Hello, all my peoples. How are we doing today? Happy Monday. Motivated Monday. Motivated Monday.
Motivation Monday. It was a great day to have you on. Motivation Monday. So how long have you been? I met you at the Realtors Convention recently, but one of them. But how long have you been working in martial arts and self-defense?
I got involved in martial arts after my father passed away when I was 12. And, I was the kid. I wrote my first book, Always Pick Last. I literally sucked at every sport. You're talking about the real Karate Kid.
But you're like you're like fitness, like you're the epitome of fitness when I met you. How could you be chosen last? Like I would choose you first.
This is something I always say to my clients when I go and speak at school systems or Boys and Girls Clubs or anywhere, even at real estate offices and corporate offices. Look, I said, I look like an athlete. I made myself an athlete. Athletes aren't born, they're made. Look at Michael Jordan. He practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. They're made. You got to forge yourself in fire.
So no one's brought into this world with like muscles and athletic ability. It's something you work hard at.
Absolutely. Right. It's like selling, right? You got to work hard at it. You got to get out there. You got to go to these conventions. You got to listen to your mentors. I got involved in martial arts. It took to me, got involved in weight training and strength training, and that took to me. And then that spent a 44-year love of martial arts over the past 44 years, from Kempo Karate to stand-up jiu-jitsu to more recently with Mark Dellagrati out of Sityatong, who's one of the best striking coaches on the planet, Muay Thai and Western boxing, and then Filipino stick fighting. I've studied a lot of different things with a lot of different people, and then I've kind of blended it because of Mark into different into a digestible, real-world self-defense kind of thing. Not kind of thing, but system that people can absorb easy. So
this system for real estate agents. So I just I kind of opened up the episode with talking about the fact that they are exposed to unbelievable risk of, in terms of a safety risk. Their business, they get calls all the time. People that they don't know. They're meeting them at their office. They're meeting them at properties that could be occupied, unoccupied. And for this female-dominated industry, it really is a mitigating risk and keeping yourself safe. So how do you work with real estate agents that don't have the time to work at being athletic and work out, don't have the time to be their best fit and be able to defend themselves? How do you help them use their brain and their tools to be able to stay safe?
It's a good question. When you really look at it, I have two daughters, so I get it, how vulnerable people are. So what we do is we set up a workshop with a real estate office or like something like EXP. I come out for 2 hours. I give people the basics. And what we do is you drill so you get the skill, and it has to be easily digestible. And then from there, if they want, If it's local, they can bring me out for regular classes, or we can actually do classes online and make sure people are constantly upgrading their skills.
But what are these classes? Yeah, what do you teach? I mean, so what do you teach in these classes? What's the number one, top 3 things a real estate agent should think about when they're making? Is it when they make the appointment or when they actually show up?
Oh, as far as when they go see the prospective client?
Yes.
Well, one of the things I show, I think I showed it to you, is one of the best self-defense weapons between your brain, your mouth, and your legs to run is a tactical flashlight. Have a tactical flashlight with you. Small, compact, it's completely innocuous. You can use that literally in the Filipino and Indonesian martial arts. We use it to strike. We don't worry about the talking piece. We worry about the limbs. Once you destroy the limbs, they're done. It takes 7 pounds to break the collarbone. If you break their collarbone, how are they going to grab you? You know, there's a specific kick that I teach called a sipa, which is a Filipino kick. You break their knee, they're not going to chase you. So when they get into a situation when they go into a home, the first thing we tell them is do not discount anything. That's one of the things I learned from a book called The Gift of Fear.
What does that mean? Do not discount anything.
Well, you know, as humans, you know, we start thinking like, oh, he's a nice guy, blah, blah. There's a great book out there I recommend to everybody, The Gift of Fear. And it's an FBI profile who he interviewed people after they were assaulted, and they discounted things.
Wow.
Like, oh, no, that's okay. You know,
we let our guard down. We let our guard down, right?
Yeah, I'm being paranoid. And these people are very good. It's what you have to really be careful of is like forced teaming. Oh, let me help you with that. Oh, let me get stuff like that. Let me get the door. You know, one of the things we taught originally is, you know, before we had phones, people would say, what time is it? And you turn your arm over, and the person would just basically jump right on you, gain space. So where's this? The other thing we teach them, too, is if you ever get assaulted, you don't yell rape, you yell fire. Nobody looks at rape, but fire, everybody's interested.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Kevin, you are kicking knowledge today. That is so true. When someone says rape, people think twice. Is that person really having an issue?
I don't want to get involved. Oh. You say fire, you get that morbid curiosity. So I would tell some pearls of wisdom is don't discount anything. When an animal feels fear, they leave 6 feet. You know, always keep 6 feet. If you don't keep 6 feet, if they try to keep closing the gap, that's kind of a definite inkling. Like I do work in the dating world too, for a couple of companies that are a dating concierge service. I tell the women that too. Besides, you know, the self-defense, when we teach our self-defense classes, you're going to sweat. You're going to what we call sweat and smile. That's the way it is.
So number one, don't discount anything. Don't discount anything. Number two, always keep a distance.
Always. Maintain distance and eye contact. Never break eye contact.
Never break eye contact. And then what's number three?
Number three is definitely trust your gut. Always trust your gut. Or bring that tactical flashlight. Have it with you in your pocketbook, in a pocket. You know, a lot of realtors, even the females, wear a suit coat. You can have it right in your suit coat. If you need to grab that, and when you think about, you know, if somebody attacks you, this is what one of my teachers told me, one of my best teachers told me. We're not aliens. It's real simple. Eyes, nose, throat, groin, joints. That's it.
Now, you mentioned this tactical flashlight. And so I have had the privilege when I first met you to have a demonstration of this tactical flashlight. And so this is that little travel flashlight. They even sell them at the dollar store and Home Depot, right? You can get them as light as the dollar store, as heavy as Home Depot or Ace Hardware. And it fits almost in the palm of your hand.
Correct. It does fit in the palm.
It does fit in your palm. And you showed me how intrinsic this was to my safety, like in 2 seconds. It was an unbelievable piece. It's all of a sudden it went from, you know, the flashlight that I use in case I'm on the side of the road in my car, or the electricity goes out during a storm in New England, to a device that was going to keep me safe.
Yes.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful. Now, how do you how do you keep? So that's the safety part. Talk to us a little bit about the mental health for real estate agents.
Well, the mental health for real estate agents is real simple. I did a book out there called "There's Light in the Tunnel: How to Survive and Thrive Depression." And I went through it. WHO last year stated that there's 798 million people with mental health issues right now.
Wow. So you wrote a book, There Is Light in the Tunnel?
Mm-hmm. How to Survive and Thrive with Depression. That's my book 2, my true story of what I went through. And then my first book on anti-bullying is Always Pick Last. True story about me. So There's Light in the Tunnel basically dives into, what I went through after a very messy divorce, like a Dateline, and was a literally Dateline episode. And then had to come back, and as I was coming back from it, I lost 90% of my business overnight with COVID.
Oh.
The bottom fell out.
What people don't understand is that no one's left out, from what you think is the most wealthy and successful real estate agent to the newbie that's struggling. Everybody is running a business. Everybody has personal and professional challenges, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the difference between you and the person who ends up in the hospital or checks out is resiliency. And so how did you stay resilient through all this?
Well, I thank McLean Hospital for helping me. And then the next thing I would say is, I'm working on my first TEDx, and the title of the TEDx is True Mental Health Through Physical Fitness. Stay physically active. Every study I've ever done and everything I've worked on with McLean, like I'm involved with their Deconstructing Stigma project. And that's Oprah's involved, Howie Mandel's involved. It's a global project of telling stories of the people that have gone through it. I'm one of the stories. And, the thing of it is, it's almost like, and it's unfortunate to say this to people, but it's like cancer. You're in remission. When you're fine, you're in remission. So you need to literally figure out what works for you. And one of the first things is obviously exercise. One of the second things is keep a network around you of people, family, friends, whatever it is, church, religion, I don't care what it is, that you can tap into and say, hey, I need help. I think the third thing that people have to remember is you got to talk about it, because what we call this, there's an article done on me not long ago in New York Weekly called I think I sent it to you, called The Hidden Wounds. It really is. If I have a cast on my arm, what would you do to your arm? You say you're depressed or anxious or you're having suicidal ideation, nobody can see that.
These are non-visible disabilities. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely.
And, we're our own worst enemy, right? We focus on the negative sometimes, and you really have to kind of right the ship. And then notice the signs, why am I slipping? Why am I feeling this way? What is that about?
Right now.
We have a...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, right now, and I don't know if you heard it when we were at the conference, there is a lot of attacks on the value of a real estate agent in the process. And there are many different views on everything from how people find homes with the digital platforms that are out there to the commissions that the real estate agent is request through the contract broker commissions. And one of the things I'm finding is there's a lot of misinformation on social media. Can you talk to us about your experience with mental health and social media, and how real estate agents can really keep everything in perspective and try to shield themselves from any attack on their mental health through this process? Topical it's right now about the industry, but just in general, how they can keep themselves safe mentally from all of this chatter.
Sure. I think the first thing is, social media has its strengths and has its weaknesses. And I think we're overexposed, really.
We're
right. Overexposed. One of the things I think we all have to remember, including myself in business, turn your phone off, shut it down once in a while, leave it alone. Don't forget the value of your family and your friends around you, that you need to, spend those time. I like to follow what Matthew McConaughey says. He believes in keeping things in the black versus the red. It's like, my spiritual health, my family, my relationship, my wife, and my business. If one of those are dipping, I got to spend a little bit more time being spiritual. Maybe I got to go to church more. Maybe I got to say thank you more. Or I see my relationship. My wife isn't so great. I got to spend more time with my wife.
But so much of our business is done on the phone. It's so hard to just shut that down. Your business comes in through that little device, our little pacifier as adults.
We live on it. I was in Starbucks yesterday getting a tea before I went out, and I see a guy come in with his little daughter. She's probably like 4. She's got a ballerina outfit, but she's got the phone. She's got the phone in her hand.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm like, what are we tuning these kids into? So I think one of the big things to do is, you're going to have a lot. I mean, people attack me too all the time. You know what you're talking about, blah, 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 this, that, the other thing. In my industry, it's almost like yours. Because if you have a 6-pack and you know the algorithms, people are paying for you online, right?
Right.
Versus the guy that's been doing this for 3 decades. So it's the same thing. So take it with a grain of salt. Listen to your mentors. Avoid the negative self-talk as best you can, and definitely exercise. We just did this in class the other day at yoga because I'm a big yogi, 15 years now, and my teacher said there was an insurance actuator, who basically measured why and when and how and people died. And the guy ended up quitting the business and said, "We're doing this all wrong." And he found a common denominator with everybody. If they did this, they stayed healthy longer. And the common denominator was real simple. One was exercise. The other was breath work. Do breathing work, sunlight, and then cold to heat exposure.
Okay, so instead of turning my phone off, if I could just take some time to get some sun, some exercise, and breathe work, that'll add, first of all, reduce my anxiety about things that are going on that I can't control.
Yes.
And add some years to my life.
Yes, definitely.
I love that. And
this is from this guy was a huge insurance actuator too.
That's huge. A very, very stressful job. That is extremely stressful.
Yeah, I mean, and I never did breath work until a couple of years ago. I'm a freak about it. And when I first started yoga 15 years ago, I used to call it yogurt. Now I can't live without it. And I can. I go. People ask me, "Well, what do you do, coach?" I go, "I do my own functional strength training, martial arts, yoga. That's my workouts."
What type of yoga are you currently engaging in?
It's not Bikram. It's like medium to hot. I'm over at Woods Yoga in Lincoln. So it's there's some Pilates thrown in there. So it's usually anywhere from 85 to 90 degrees.
So with all of this background that you have, the mental health and the physical health that you're providing, not just to obviously we're talking about realtors, but you're helping a lot of companies with their workforce. Do you feel that are you busier now helping employees and employers now post-COVID? Can you talk to us a little bit about what you saw COVID do to us?
I think Sean Schmuck, I can never say his name right. One of my friends that's involved in the deconstructive stigma program at McLean told me that, COVID was the pandemic, but it exposed the true pandemic, which is mental health. It really is.
Yeah.
When you think about it, the fastest growing population for mental health issues in this country is 11 to 17-year-olds.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Oh, when I was that age, all I was thinking about was, I think of MTV, and my favorite shows on television.
Well, think about how much all these kids are exposed to now.
Right.
Like I have a client who's 15. The mother hired me a year ago because the big thing in Taunton High School was the mean girls jump you, they grab you here, they start beating you up, and then one of them films it and puts it on Instagram.
We're in the video. Everybody wants to take a video of everything.
Everybody wants to take a video of everything. So what I try to do is I walk in and I'll do the self-defense thing. I help people build confidence. I'll do the self-defense thing. I'll do the health and wellness. I will do the mental health. Like one of my big talks is kind of funny. It's simple, right? I try to make this light and interesting. So one of my big talks that I'm asked for at a lot of realtors or conferences or corporations is the 2-year-old mind in the 40-year-old body. When you think about it, think about a 2-year-old. Can you tell me how many times your son or daughter fell to walk? No, but it's just in you that you have to keep going. You have to keep going. I have to learn to walk. I have to learn to wipe my own butt. I have to learn to feed myself. Now, if you reverse that, if you put the 40-year-old mind in the 2-year-old body, The minute you fell down, you're like, oh, who's watching me? I look like hell. Oh my God.
Right,
Somebody else is going to wipe my butt, push me around. We're all set.
We're all set.
And then, the other one is when I go out and do anti-bullying. I mean, bullying exists even in corporations. People are picked on and forced out and, things of that nature.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot really
the,
pulling at our mental health these days, and then you add on what's TV and politics and geopolitical issues. It's enough to really you said it best, sensory overload. We have to take a break from the amount of information. We're in the age of information, and now we've got to teach ourselves to pull back from absorbing the information. Isn't that funny?
It's like a fire hose, right?
Yes.
It's like slow down. Just slow down. Like when we do martial arts, it's simple. I never give people any more than 3 or 4 techniques. Drill, drill, drill. And the same thing with concepts, right? When we talk about the anti-bullying, we talk about the 4S formula: speak up, stand up, stay together, self-defense.
That's wonderful.
Whether it be in schools or at work. I mean, my goal is to have my book into every school system. And eventually my book made into a movie, I hope, because if I can help, I'm on a mission, and I've been on a mission since I graduated. First to help end obesity. Now it's like to help, end mental health, or at least help fix mental health. And then I want to make people feel safe. I don't have, and I'm not trying to be egotistical, I don't have a lot of issues walking into certain situations because I know the angles. I can sense when something doesn't feel right.
Right.
I can. And then
you've trained yourself to know.
Well, and not just me. It's my teachers. I've spent a lot of time with law enforcement and military. Work with those people, which are great people, and they teach you things. Like, very rarely when I go on a date is my back facing the door. Very rarely. Wow. I'm always facing the door. And the date doesn't even know it. I'm saying the date doesn't even know it. They don't even know. Plus, I've checked the exits out, and I've scanned the tables and the bars. You just assess.
Well, it's funny because it is sort of like a date when you're meeting a potential home buyer or home seller for the first time, right? Where could you have such an intimate relationship?
The blind date.
Yeah,
it's a blind date.
It's a blind date. That's
kind of. I feel for the female realtors that walk into a situation and go, this doesn't, and they're thinking about the sale, but at the same time, you're like, wow, this doesn't feel right. What
are some of the scenarios I wanted you to scenarios that you're hearing from law enforcement as it relates to real estate, or it's not that granular? You're hearing some things from law enforcement friends. Is anything around real estate that they're seeing commonly now that realtors, real estate professionals should look out for? Is there? I know there's an issue right now with fake rentals, but that's more about the person renting and not about the real estate agent. Have you heard anything from your law enforcement? Because I know you're heavily connected there. Some scams or scenarios that are being run on real estate professionals that they should watch out for in the marketplace.
Yeah, one of the scams I've heard through the grapevine is if the person gives you a phone number and it's a burner phone, that's usually a wicked red flag. It's a burner phone.
How do you know it's a burner phone?
Well, all you have to do is take the person's full name and phone number, throw it in Google. If it doesn't show up, guess what?
Okay, that's good.
That's how you know it's a burner phone,
right?
And then check them out. I think female realtors and realtors in general should treat it like a date. Do a background check. Throw the name in.
Yeah,
it doesn't add up.
I have heard real estate agents kind of just looking at that name. Look, you can look on social, you can look on LinkedIn. There's not many people today. I actually get really nervous when I am about to have a meeting and I look someone up and I don't find anything about them.
There's no way there's no information on people anymore.
Yeah.
There's just too much information.
I immediately assume they're not giving me their correct name. That's what I immediately assume.
Exactly. That's the thing that basically scares me when people say that. It's like, something doesn't add up.
Right.
Just it doesn't. And for men too, you never know.
Right.
You get a and not to sound the wrong way. But
be careful.
No, but if you get a woman,
This is a PG show.
no, but you get a woman and a man in a, the man's realtor, and the woman is, is a prospective buyer. What if she's carrying?
Right.
Right? You don't know.
Right.
If she's carrying, and she's not all there.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up, because we obviously do real estate in open carry states.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
what if she has a knife? What if she's not all there? Who knows? You just don't know.
Right. And with mental health being so tenuous as it is right now, you never know if someone didn't take their meds. And so what I'm hearing you say is treat it like a blind date. Do your research. You wouldn't go out with someone for coffee or breakfast or dinner without understanding who they were, at least, and who they're connected to in the community. Do your homework. You also mentioned about once you're at that blind date or showing or a first meeting with a potential client, to keep your distance and never take anything for granted or never rule anything out. So those are really good pieces of advice. You have a book. Can you say the book again so that we can make sure that folks listening to this can engage more and understand more about what you do and how you can help them and their brokerage?
Sure. There's one book called Always Pick Last. It's on Amazon. My anti-bullying book. And there's another book called Light the Tunnel, How to Survive and Thrive with Depression. If they want to find me, they can go to Burn, BURN, with WITH, KEARNS.com.
Burnwithkearns.com. I love it.
And I'm old school. So you want to reach me? 508-404-8503. I'm old school. I pick up my phone. If I don't pick up my phone, I'm with the client. I'm doing a workshop. Who knows? Send me a text. I'm old school. So, my job, my calendar is filling up ever since the expo, and because we put this product out there. So I am getting very busy for 2024.
That's great. Well, Coach Kearns, thank you so much for joining us on the Real Estate Leads Uncovered podcast, talking about realtor safety and being self-aware, not only physically, but mentally with your mental health during this time. Thank you so much for the pearls of wisdom that you provided our realtors, both male and female today. And we want to have you back soon. The Realtor Safety Month comes up every year. We want to make sure that we get you on to give us the latest and greatest of what we should be looking out for in terms of wellness and safety. Thank you, Kevin Kearns. Coach Kearns has 2 books on Amazon. He mentioned, so get those books, engage. Let's keep ourselves safe, realtors, as we navigate this market, both mentally and physically. Hey, Coach Kearns, thank you so much.
And come to a workshop anytime. They're going to be all over the place. No, Lisa, thank you, and thank all the listeners and Real Estate Leads for having me on. I appreciate that.
All right, keep preaching the gospel, Coach Kearns. We love you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.